Hey, good morning, everyone. John Henry Soto here. It is 7 a.m. All right, good morning. Good morning, everyone. John Henry Soto here. Hope everyone had a great evening. We've got snow in my parts here in New Jersey. I've seen quite a bit of snow. I haven't seen this much snow in a very, very long time. I was telling my kids that this is sort of like what I remember growing up. There was always this much snow for some reason. But this is actually pretty cool. We went out a couple times with the kids, and they played with this. They played outside in the house here, and had a great, great time. And I'm not a big fan of the snow. I'm not a big fan of cold weather. I know I've been in the East Coast for a long time, the northern East Coast, right? Up in New York, New Jersey, my whole life. So I've seen all the weather, but I don't know, just not a huge fan of cold weather. But I don't know if there are people that just love the cold weather. Oh, I love the cold weather. I hate warm weather, warm, nice weather. I just hate it. I just love cold, freezing weather. But there are people that might like that. People that live way up north, and they obviously stay there. But we had a nice dump of snow on us, which was pretty cool. So anyway, hope everyone's having a nice morning out there, getting your cup of coffee. I got mine right here. I got my Bustelo. Oh yeah, that's some good stuff right there. And today we're going to be talking about do not harm a person of goodwill. And this is number 11, precept number 11 from the book The Way to Happiness by L Ron Hubbard, written in 1981. And there you see it. Do not harm a person of goodwill. And this is the book. I took out the jacket of the book. I usually take out the jackets of the book when I'm using them or reading them, and I put them away. So this way, when I'm done reading, I put them back again, and they don't get beat up. Even though I know that the purpose of the jackets is to protect the book, but I want to protect the jacket. So, all right. So we're talking about harming a person of goodwill, and I guess this is something that's been going on. Evil people in the world that see somebody that's doing good and decides that they want to take it upon themselves to stop them and to harm them. It's happened throughout history, right? How many people that we've known that have been doing good work and have been taken from us, um, including the ones that we don't know that they were taken from us, the ones that were just taken, um, and as an accident, you know, quote unquote. So anyway, let's jump right into this one. This is a do not harm a person of goodwill. Despite the instance of evil men, I'm gonna start again because I already messed up. There's my my morning reading skills. Okay, despite the instance of evil men, that all men are evil, there are many good men around and women too. You may have been fortunate enough to know some. Factually, the society runs on men and women of goodwill. Public workers, opinion leaders, those in private sector who do their jobs, are in the great majority people of goodwill. If they weren't, they long since would have ceased to serve. Such people are easy to attack. There are their very decency prevents them from overprotecting themselves. Yet, the survival of most of the individuals in the society depend upon them. The violent criminal, the protagonist, the, the sensation seeking media all tend to distract one's attention from the solid, everyday fact that the society would not run at all if it were not for the individuals of goodwill. As they guard the street, counsel the children, take the temperatures, put out the fires, and speak good sense in quiet voices, one is apt to overlook the fact that people of goodwill are the ones that keep the world going and men alive upon this earth. And man alive upon this earth. Yet such can be attacked, and strong measures should be advocated and taken to defend them and keep them from harm. For your own survival, that I'm gonna start that sentence again. Yet such can be attacked, and strong measures should be advocated and taken to defend them and keep them from harm for your own survival and that of your family and friends depends upon them. The way to happiness is far more easily followed when one supports people of good will. All right. So, you know, the world con- continues to be here based on men of goodwill, whether we know that or not. You know, I think he mentions the media there, and now this was written in '81, right? Um, but he says pretty clearly that there are certain things in society that actually make us think that they're not. And, so where does he say that? He says here, yeah. So he says the violent criminal, the protagonist, the sensation seeking media all tend to distract one's attention from the solid everyday fact that the society would not run at all if it were not for the individuals of goodwill. So if it wasn't for people that are doing good in the world, we wouldn't be running here. But the criminals and the media, they'll distract people from seeing that, and they'll think that everyone is bad, or they'll think that the society is mostly bad, but not realizing that we really wouldn't be here if everyone was bad. We would just all have killed each other by now, right? So a high percentage of us are actually good people, and that is the message for today, and the under the trying to duplicate the fact that yes, there are bad people in the world, right? That's quite obvious. But a majority of people of goodwill are here, and we're here because of them. And things are moving along and moving forward and continuing to do to expand. We're learning more. You know, uh, Technology is getting better. A lot of things are actually improving in society that really there's not a lot of focus on. Our health, being healthy is important. Following people that are healthy and setting good examples, like we talked about a few days ago, right? Setting in the book, one of them is set a good example, right? And if you look around society and you look at how many people are actually doing good things that you personally know, I'm sure you can name a lot of them. But if you go around and you start looking and saying, okay, how many criminals do I know personally that I know that are going out committing crime? You either don't know that they are committing crime, right? Or you can't think of anybody. You surround yourself with people that are good. So all of you of goodwill are actually keeping things moving along here. It's the responsibility of all of us to defend those people that are doing good work. Some people would say God's work, right? Some people would say, you know, um, guided by the divine. Um, Whatever it is, someone that's doing good should be protected, and it's our responsibility to protect them and to be part of that and to continue that uh, that flow, because that is what's keeping society here and keeping us safe and keeping us growing. Um, I wanted to talk a little bit about, you know, growing up in the where I grew up in the Bronx. There was this, and it's probably still like that now. Now, there's this just strange idea that the police officers were bad, right? Growing up, everyone was like afraid of the police officers, right? And it's mostly the criminals who were afraid of the police officers. I was never really afraid of the police officers, even though I had a moment there where I thought I needed to fear them because I was hanging around, people that were not that were just also fooled into thinking the same thing. But then as I got older, I started realizing, well, these are just regular people. Actually, what was funny was that we were sitting, I was a kid, I don't know, young teenager, and we were sitting outside and on somebody's car, I guess, which you did back then, which it's harder to do today, right? Maybe it's not in those neighborhoods, but we were sitting on a car somewhere, just leaning up against a car, and two police officers came up to ask us a question, and they asked us about somebody, and I can't remember the person's name, but let's just say it's Joe. They were like, "Hey, have you guys seen Joe?" And it was somebody that we knew. It was like a nickname that they gave him. We all had nicknames. And have you guys seen Crazy Joe? And we were like, no, we haven't seen him. And then one of our little group there, he was like, why? And then the cop was like, why? He goes, what do you mean, why? You want to go to jail? He tells the kid, and I remember we all kind of just looked at him, and then he started laughing, the cop. He was like, no, we're just looking for him, just trying to make sure he's okay, the cop said. And then he kind of walked away. He was like, all right, if you see him anyway, just tell him that we're looking for him. He's not in trouble. And I was like, oh, and we were like, oh, okay. So he walked away, and then he started having a conversation with his partner, and the conversation was very like natural. He's like, yeah, I think he was talking about getting some food, and they were talking about it was very casual conversation, and I remember just kind of looking at these two police officers, and with all the gear and the guns and everything, and and I thought to myself, these are just regular people that just have these jobs, and from that moment on, I wasn't really didn't feel afraid of them or anything. If anything, they were there to protect us, and I respected them, and I these are people of goodwill that are giving their lives really to protect us, and I know we had the nonsense of last year of defunding them, which I don't. I think there's reform possibly, but the numbers don't stack up based on that. There's no. I mean, I saw an interview yesterday where people were like, "Yeah, it's so crazy. I've seen on social media all the what the cops," and I'm like, "Social media." I'm like, God, if you're using social media to get your news or to know what's happening in the world, I mean, it's really sad. They really destroy people of goodwill on there. They don't they don't really protect. They protect groups that actually entice violence. That's the groups that they protect. So it's really not the place to get your news from. If anything, don't watch the news at all. Spend time with your family and read good books and help people and volunteer time at your local church or your you know go to the library and read books to kids and get involved with the programs and do stuff that's more productive rather than even watch. And I fell into the trap myself, watching the insanity of the last few years, and finally came to the conclusion that these are just evil people that are creating these images for us to consume and to base a viewpoint on, and it's not. There's nothing legitimate to it. There really isn't. Especially if you look at it once you dive in and you look at things more um, rationally, and you take an analytical approach to viewing every piece of content of news that hits your space. You start realizing that it was meant there. It was created. It was manufactured. It was not real. It's fake. And I'm not going to say it. but the news is fake, right? And you can take it and you can say, well, there's probably some reality to this, which there could be. And then you would take that and dissect it, and then go out and really find information, and that's really going to help you. You know, people don't seem to do that. They don't. I mean, I don't understand it. I grew up knowing that I wasn't going to get fooled. You know, like there are people that have been fooled, like scams. You know, that people have to scam. Like back in the days, there was the whole. I had somebody a few people that I knew that got scammed by taking their gold and putting it in a bag and handing it to somebody who was going to give them cash and stuff like whatever. I was like, and it was this scam that I just thought to myself, I would never fall for that. You know what I mean? I would just never fall for it. And but this is what's happening. People are being fooled, and it's pretty incredible that it's happening. I remember being aware enough to know that people are out there trying to do bad things. But I also remember that I was aware enough to know that there are people out there doing bad things, and that I need to look at what they're saying and what they're telling me, and kind of look at it and be like, is that person telling me the truth? Especially if I don't know them, if it's some huge conglomerate network that's just spewing out stuff to me. I'm like, well, why should I believe this network with $1 billion and fancy cameras and lighting to tell me what I think I should believe, or what I think is what's the truth? How do they know it? And I've been to news networks. I've been behind the scenes, and I see that it's a show. It is a show. It is lights, camera, action. Here's the script, lines. And, I've seen at the highest levels. I've seen the network. I have friends that work at some of these networks, and it was cool. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the cameras and all the fanciness, but it was sort of like, they cut. I remember this one woman at this network. I'm not going to mention the network, but she's this beautiful, beautiful woman, and I got to talk to her for a little bit. She's one of the anchors there, and she was like very, 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 very. I don't want to say happy, but she was very alert. And I wouldn't say alert like she knew what was going on around her. I would say that she was portraying a character that was very alert, maybe. And maybe I didn't know her. I don't know her that well, but maybe she is very alert. But anyway, they introduced me. This is John, and she was like, "Hi, how are you, John? It's great meeting you. All right, you're gonna hear this. You here to see the show? Fantastic. That's so great. All right. Well, listen, you stand right here, and you can see the lights. Everything's gonna be very. I don't know if she was being condescending to me or anything, but then I heard her walk away, and she's talking to everybody else, and she was talking to my friend. She's like, "Hey, how are you? Everything's fine? Yeah. Why don't you get some coffee and let's get some food? Yeah, we're gonna have a great show." And there was this constant weird kind of thing. I don't know what that was. Anyway, that's a side story. That was just something that I remember. But anyway, I remember her getting ready to go on the air and to do the show, and she was sitting there, and well, she was standing actually, and they're like, all right, 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, it's live, right? 2, 1, and you're on. And she's like, hi everyone, my name is, I can't remember her name. My name is Jenny. Hi Jenny here. And she gave this report. She's like, in the news today, and it was a tragic report. It was about somebody being killed in a snowing accident, a snowing vehicle or something. And unfortunately, he did not survive the injuries, and and it was tragic. And then like, we'll be back. And then they cut off, and as soon as they cut the camera, she was like, has anybody tried that restaurant? There was a new one that opened up. It was something about food. She was talking about a restaurant that opened up. It was like instantaneously, she was like, okay, we're off. Anybody tried that? Anybody? She's talking to like the lighting people up on the rafters, and she's like, yeah, because I want to try it out because I'm so tired of eating everything. Okay, we're back in 3, 2, 1, 2. And in further news, and then she went right back into it again. And it was right at that point I realized, holy cow, this is a high advanced show. It's not her writing. She's reading off the teleprompter. She didn't write any of this. She's just a trained professional on camera reader. She's beautiful. She's got a great voice. Um, she had really nice clothing. Her hair was fantastic. She smelled like just blossoms. She was amazing, and she just got on there and she gave some of the worst news of things of humanity. And then it just cut off, and then suddenly she was out of character and she was talking, and then she went right back in again. And it was just a job. It was just and I thought, wow, it really is all just a show, and whatever is on that teleprompter, she's going to read because she's getting paid, probably really good. She's getting some big bucks to just read it. And there are people out there that are just so desperate to just read whatever they have to read to make good money to be on television. She might have been an actress at one point. Who knows? Maybe she is a journalist. But how many journalists, people that went to school for journalism and have written, extensive articles in reliable sources, and gone out and researched and gotten a news story based on the foot traffic, running out there and hitting the pavement and asking questions. How many people are doing that? I remember watching as a kid Mike Wallace and watching all these crazy interviews that he used to do. Good morning, Anna. My niece is on. Good morning, from all the way from Florida. um but I remember he used to do these like really intense interviews with people, and ask them these really tough questions, and they'd be sweating, and because they were in trouble, and they had to come on and explain themselves. Somehow that went away. We don't have anybody on TV anymore sweating or being asked tough questions. Nobody. Um, so I'm wondering, like, well, what, everyone's suddenly good? There's nobody asking any questions on these big corporations, this whole Wall Street thing, where they're really asking them these tough questions where they're sweating. I mean, I know that they are out there and there are things happening. And because I don't watch the news, maybe it is happening every day, but I just don't see it being the sound bites being put out. Watch this interview where the president or the CEO of this company that's stole that millions of dollars from their investors, and they interview this guy, but they don't do that. They don't see the sound bites. I see basically just you know uh the thing happening. Something happened, right? Like this whole Wall Street thing, right? Somebody's got to go to jail, right? I mean, some criminal activity was done. Is somebody gonna go to jail? Probably not. These are like freaking billionaires that are protected by the billions of dollars they have and the power that they have. So it's really crazy. But the point of this talk this morning and the show today is really to protect and to help people of goodwill, and people that are doing good in society should be helped and should be uh, acknowledged and should be validated daily. And that's really where our focus should be on. It shouldn't be on the bad people, the criminals, right? And there's a lot of criminals right now in high power positions that will be exposed. If they're not going to be exposed here on earth, they will expose when they die. They will be exposed. And no matter what you believe, no matter what religion, no matter what, if you believe there is no nothing afterwards, and that's a different story. But if you believe there's something afterwards, if you're a criminal now, you will pay for that later. Doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. Doesn't matter. But that is the hope that we have. It is the belief, right? The faith, the certainty, right? I don't have a faith. I have a certainty. Certainties are different. I'm certain of things. I am 100% certain of things. And this to me is probably the biggest power that I have and biggest thing that I've learned. And helping people of goodwill is what really needs to be really done and helped. And Yep, my niece is 100% correct. And I'm going to flash it on the screen here. She says, what's done in the dark will come to the light. people will have to answer eventually to a higher power, if not here on earth. That's right. 100%. 100%. And that is what my certainty is on that. And so while we're here, let's support those people of goodwill, people that are helping our police officers, our firemen, our teachers, our frontline health workers, people that are out there really keeping the show on the road, our bus drivers, our subway conductors, all the engineers that are building our homes and keeping our heating people that are going out there fixing people's heats that have gone out, and plumbers, all of those people that are just out there getting the show on the road and helping us and keeping us moving forward. Let's support them because they're people of goodwill. All right, folks, thank you very much. I'll see you all tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning is this is number 12 of our precepts from the way to happiness. And this one is safeguard and improve your environment. So this is a really good one about safeguarding your environment, because it's really important, because your environment can really stress you out and get you sick. And to safeguard it, there are rules. So there's 21 precepts in this book called The Way to Happiness, written by L Ron Hubbard in 1981. And they're very, it's not a religious book per se. It is a book of precepts to help you live a better life. And we're up to number 12. We're going all the way to 21. So number 12 is safeguard and improve your environment. And that's tomorrow morning's talk. And thank you, Anna, for being here. And thank you. Oh, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. Sweet. She says, thank you for all your service. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Love you all. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow morning. And as always, peace.